young men trying to get this shit right. Right. I know it take a little minute, but you gon' have your time.
Boom. What's up, guys? It's a new year. Yo, I'm glad to be recording again. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Don Talk Podcast. Yes, we are back, and I am glad to be recording. Right? All right. So, I'm gonna kind of get right into it. I feel, a lot of what I wanted to do today was just kind of go over um, 2023 because the last 6 months they almost broke me. I'm not gonna lie to y'all. Like, I was really at a point where I kind of I was doubting myself a lot, and I didn't know if what I was doing was the right thing. So I'm gonna go talk about it and stuff, but yeah, it almost got you, boy. I say that it almost got me, but it didn't. Still I rise. Still here I am. Because we don't give up. But also I'm like trying to nurse. I think it's a cold. I hope it's not. I do feel congested, and I don't like that because I don't like when I can't breathe properly. Um, it's one of the most annoying things in the world. But that being said, let's kind of jump back into 2023 real quick. So in June of 2023, that was kind of like the starting point because that's where I was at the job I was at, and things were going well. Like, I felt pretty comfortable at that job, and that was one of the first lessons I learned, to never be comfortable at a job. Like, you should always be on not always be on your toes. Like, you should feel comfortable at the job, but you shouldn't be comfortable with the job. That's a bar. Someone's gonna get that, but you know, yeah, man. It's like I was at a point where I felt like I was invincible, at the job, and I was, because I know what I was doing was the right thing. Like, I was handling business and everything, so that wasn't a problem. But the way I ended up leaving, so I wanted to, like, I was planning on leaving the job anyways because I wasn't, like, the boss was just kind of like starting to clash, and then I was also like, man, I feel like I could take my talent somewhere where I'd be fully respected. um and for me it was like, all right, so the thing was like, yo, if you're leaving, don't tell the kids, because the kids aren't going to, like, it would make them sad or whatever. But it's like, why wouldn't I want to tell the kids, if this is a trauma informed program, I'd want them to have a healthy goodbye, as opposed to them finding out that I'm not going to be there until the following school year. Like, that just doesn't make any sense to me. So, me being my rebellious self, I told them anyways. Um, and someone wasn't happy about that. So the big boss had ended up telling my supervisor to tell me not to come back for the last couple of days, um, which kind of, set off a huge chain reaction. And, well, I ain't going to air out all their business because, that's their business. But, let's just say I feel comfortable about my situation currently. And I don't know how it is for them, you know. But yeah, that really, like, that cut deep because like, I was working with them kids, man. Like, I worked with most of them for 2 years, so to see them, in that position where I told them, when it's the last day of program, and like, they crying, and they coming up to me and giving me hugs and stuff while they crying, I couldn't hold that in. So I ended up crying too, because like, it was very emotional that day. It was very emotional. Like, I can't remember before that day. I can't remember the last time I cried, like, real stuff. So yeah, that was hard for me. And then when all that happened, it was just kind of like, dang, I felt like I was on a downward spiral because I think for like a few weeks after that, I was like basically unemployed. I didn't have a job, which was hard because I was like, dang, like I don't have any money coming in, but these bills are still here. I still got to pay these bills. So, um, yeah, I was trying to figure it out and stuff, but I was still enjoying myself, living life. And then, yeah, I think what happened next? What happened next um, was me finding a job as a therapeutic mentor, right? But I was just doing like training and stuff, so that was moving slow, and it was hard at the time because I'm like, damn man, like am I doing the right thing? Like, did I make the right decision to tell those kids like I probably would still have a job if I, So I was like in my head a lot, like the whole time I was training, just learning the ropes of like being a therapeutic mentor and everything. Like, I felt like everything was just moving so slow, but that was me like being so used to having everything and like being so upbeat, and I think that was a sign just to kind of like yo, slow down. Like, you might think that something is supposed to be moving at your speed, but that's not always how it works. So that was a bar for me because I was like, man, I wanted to be this way, but everything else around me, like the environment and all the signs I was getting, was like, yo, man, slow down, slow down, you know? So, and not stop, just slow down, you know? Be more aware of your surroundings. Take it all in. Don't rush to get where you're going. So, I felt good about that for quite some time, and then like I started seeing like one of my kids, two of my kids really, but like one of them I was seeing a lot, because he was very involved in stuff. So I was seeing him pretty often, and then everything's going well, still moving kind of slow, but I'm like, I feel a lot more comfortable about everything, but I was still a little on the fence. And then, boom, fast forward to October, man. October 31st. Whew. Well, no, it wasn't the 31st, but it was October 28th at like 12 in the morning, 1 in the morning, right? So I was out with my friend, we was out like just at like this little club, restaurant thing, was chilling, whatever. It's like, all right, it's time to leave. So, we leaving on the way back home. Um, and then after that, like when we was on our way home, um, someone was in the fourth lane and cut across all the way to get to the exit. So someone else, so the first car, there were three cars involved in this. There was an accident, I'll say that. It was an accident I was involved in. So the first car cut across all the lanes to get to the exit, right? The second car swerved around them. So the second car was in the slow lane and then went around them to come back into the slow lane, right? But I was already in the slow lane and I was moving. So, you know, I saw the person cut across, but they was already like they was pretty far up ahead. But the second car that was involved, like they swerved around, and as I was coming, they swerved back into the slow lane. So we ended up hitting them, and thankfully no one was injured, but my car was totaled. So yeah, man, I was so shook because I'd never been in a car accident. Like, and that was hard on me too, man, because I was like, damn, bro, like was I speeding? Like, was I drunk? Like, I'm freaking out, just like in my head, like I'm sitting there, like after we crashed, like just holding the steering wheel, and some dude. I'm so blessed for this dude. I forget his name, man, but um, he saw everything. He swerved out the way, so he didn't get hit. Um, but he literally pulled over in the breakdown lane, came up to the car, and was like, "Yo, y'all gotta get out of this car like right now." And for me, I'm like, I was just in shock because I didn't know I didn't know what was going on, man. Like, I was like, damn, like I just hit somebody. I hit the guardrail too, and then I tried to swerve and like get out the way, but yeah, it didn't happen. But yeah, man. So like I said, thankfully no one was injured. Um, yeah, the car was totaled. Both cars was totaled actually, and the person who cut across, got away scot free. Uh, so yeah, but yeah, so we got an accident. I ended up getting a ride home, and then what happened after that? I think the next day, that's when I like called insurance and was doing all that. So I was using rentals for quite some time, man, and just yeah, it was. I would say like that was one of the craziest points of the year, just because I was like, damn, like yo, I really got into a car accident, and I know some people have come out with injuries, or some people were unable to come out with a life, So I guess like I was again being thankful because I was just like, man, like I'm being watched over. I know that, and again, that was the second sign telling me, yo, slow down. I wasn't speeding, but it's just like, man, slow down. So I think that was a big thing for me. And then uh, there was one more sign I will say um, that kind of like pointed out to me. I needed to slow down, and this is pretty obvious. So I was driving from Connecticut. I was on my way back home, my boys, and I was driving like I know I'm not the only one that's like this. So if you got your music going and you in the car, you just cruising, like not even thinking twice, like you zone out, right? It happens. I got pulled over, and I got a speeding ticket, and that shit hurt, bro. That shit hurt. Um, it was $537, and I was like, golly, man. So yeah, I was like, yo, like we drove back home, and it's not like I didn't play no music on the way back home. It's like, nah, man, we can't even do that. So yeah, bro, that was just I think that was a big thing for me, just to kind of like, really put into perspective, like, man, slow down. There's no need to rush where you're going, because you always gonna get there wherever you're supposed to be. I really believe that everything is already pre-planned. So wherever you gotta go, you're gonna go. Whoever you're supposed to meet, you will. How you meet them, I don't know. But if you're rushing, things aren't gonna work out the way they're supposed to. You gotta take your time. Be patient. Like a lot of us want stuff, like that immediate gratification. But it's like, no, if we just take some time and slow down to really take it all in, and maybe you do some better planning, when you get there, it's gonna be like, damn. And then you could just chill there, right? So for me, I think like, one of my biggest things, like I'm not someone who travels a lot anyways, but what I told myself was, for the first 6 months of this year, no trips. Like I have a work trip in January. I have a work trip, that is being paid for. Like it was paid for by my job because it's a conference. That's different, right? But I mean, like no personal trips. Like I don't need to be in, you know, DR, or I don't need to be going to a different state. Like I can save that money right now because I know I don't have it, right? And this is something like, I don't know, for all you travelers out there, like I get it, y'all probably ain't gonna listen, but how I look at stuff is like, man, if you, these are three things you should look for, like when you paying for a trip, right? If you want to go on the trip, do you have money? First, do you have money to afford the ticket and still be good, right? Okay. Do you have money to spend while you're down there and still be good? That's number two. Number three, will you have money when you come back, right? Because I feel like if those three things aren't in order, you shouldn't be taking a trip. But that's my opinion. So I believe that, I don't need to be taking any trips for the first 6 months of the year because I can wait. One, I can wait until I have it, but two, I can also wait until it's colder here in Boston to go somewhere warm. Like that just makes the most sense to me. But again, I'm one person. That's my opinion. Feel how you feel. But yeah, man, just slow down. Like we don't always need to be doing stuff right away. Like you don't always need to be involved in stuff. Like man, just take a break, take it slow down, be patient, and just take things in like as they are. So that is the message of today. To slow down. Be observant. Be patient. Take your time. There's no need to rush. There's no need to rush, right? Like I'm not gonna rush anything when I know that everything I'm supposed to have in this life is already mine. Like it's already gonna come to me. I'm gonna put in the work, obviously, but I already know it's mine. So why do I need to rush? And for people that's, oh well, yeah, well, we're all gonna die, so I might as well live while I'm alive. Everybody's gonna die. You can't take it with you. No, you can't. But you can leave some behind, right? Because for me, I don't know about y'all. I have life insurance. I make those payments. Is it monthly? I don't even know. But I make payments for my life insurance policy so that in the event of my untimely death, there is some money for my family to afford a funeral or something so that, they're not completely asked out or have to do a GoFundMe. I have a way I feel about GoFundMes. I don't like GoFundMes because it's like now with this thinking, it's like, all right, like you could have prevented this situation. You could have prevented using a GoFundMe, if you had insurance because we have insurance on our phones. We have car insurance. We have like insurance on a house or whatever, like you have all these insurances, but you don't have insurance on yourself. So I think that that's something that we need to, kind of, we need to rewire some of that thinking, some of those synapses in our brains to say, hey, like, there's certain things that we need to do as, as a people to kind of get right because a lot of what, people do is driven by social media, what they see other people doing, comparison and all that. Oh, I should be on an island. Nah, that's what they're doing. They probably can afford it. And if they can't afford it, that's their problem. But you shouldn't feel that way because of what you see someone else doing. Like that's their journey. That might not be your journey at the moment. And especially like if you save up, if you really like don't take no trips, like I'm being serious for like 5 years. If you go into hiding for like 5 years, just work, save up, like make investments, take care of yourself properly, and then after those 5 years, you will be in a much better position. You won't have to stress about, oh, like can I really afford this trip or just, oh well, I'm gonna do it anyways. God got me. Mm, he really, he do, but he don't. You get me. He do, but he don't because it's like he's always gonna look out for you, but at the same time, you shouldn't be making bad decisions and then putting it on God. Like to me, that don't make sense. But yeah, I think that is a big thing. So I am kind of like, I don't know. I'm just a big advocate on like, yo, just wait, man. Like save up your money and then do what you need to do in the last 6 months or something like that. Like save up your money now if you can, and then in a few years, like you'll be in a position to where you won't have to stress about, having money and stuff like that. I also have to mention, like, so I saved up money to buy myself a car. I bought my first car, y'all, and it feels good because I look at that car and I'm like, yeah, that's me. The other car before was my mom's car, but yeah, now it's like, nah, this is all me. I paid for this. I take care of this. That's me, right? And that money, like it wasn't like I didn't break the bank because I had already saved up this money. Like I knew I was going to use it for something. And look, you see, it's 2024 now. I bought my car at the end of 2023, but like that money was saved up since 2018. That was the first time I ever got all that money. And then I saved it. Like I didn't touch it. I was like, man, mama, and like, my mom was like, oh, like, you saved this for a rainy day. That rainy day came that night. I crashed the car, right? And I was able to take care of myself in that position. But had I not saved, if I was just terrible with money management, I'd be like, no offense to anybody who's doing it, but I'd be taking a bus right now or Ubering, and I don't like that. So it's like, man, you got to be smart with your money too. Like, just again, slow down. Don't spend all your money. Save some money. Put some aside. Like, put it in investment apps or whatever. I use Stash, and it takes. I think it takes about like either 30 or 40 bucks out weekly of my account and puts it into Stash and like invests it and stuff. And then, when I first got Stash, I think I got that in like 2020. And then I think last year was the first time I ever was like, damn, like I kind of want to use some of this money. And that money saved up after 3 years and not touching it, whoo, I was like, oh, I need to do this more often. More people need to do this more often. So that was a big thing for me, man. Like just kind of seeing how saving up, what it does to you. Like like during the pandemic, when I was working security, man, like, I didn't have nowhere to go. I didn't have no money to spend. I mean, I didn't have no bills to pay for, nothing to spend my money on. Saving my money and seeing how much was in my account at that time, I was like, oh, I need that again. Right now, I'm saying I need that again. Because that was just an unmatched feeling, man. Like, I don't have to worry or stress about nothing. Like, if I ever needed to pay for something, I could. Like, I was talking with my friend, and I was telling her, like, yo, like, when I was working at security, and, like, I saved up all that money, and I told her, like, so some of the duffel bags I got, like, I don't know if y'all seen it, but, like, so there's a brand called Opulent Men's Club, and they got, like, leather, like gator skin, not clothes, bags and stuff. So I have a duffel bag, a backpack, and a little briefcase, right? So the duffel bag and the backpack, I brought that, and she was like, "Oh, like this is nice." I was like, "Yeah, I paid like it was like $350 each because I bought two. I bought one set for me and one set for my brother, so it was like 700." And she was like, "Damn, like." You got 700 that's little weight like that. I was like, for me, that was a small purchase because of where I was at that time. I was like, man, like 700, I'll make it back. And I knew I was because I wasn't spending my money. I was being smart with my money. Like, okay, yeah, every now and then I was like, I would make a purchase like that. Not that big because that was excessive, but like, I was still in a position to where that didn't affect me like that. Like, I knew I was going to make it back. So, I think that's something that, we need more financial literacy or like, just real genuine like financial gurus in our community because we don't know money. A lot of us don't, but I want to be in a position where, I can tell people like how to save their money and stuff, like, or where to put their money, like in terms of investing and stuff. Because I feel like, investment apps are like, programs like those are really underrated. So yeah, I don't know. I want us to all be good in terms of, just being smart with our money. So like I'm saying, man, take your time. Don't rush. Slow down. Slow down. Like, it's just, I don't know, man. Like, when you really go through life and you're not rushing because you're trying to compete with other people, like, I'm running my own race. I'm so patient and, like, I have a certain level of peace right now because I'm not rushing. I'm not competing with anybody. I'm not worried about what anybody else is doing. I'm moving at my own pace. No one can tell me how to do or what to do, like how to do things or what to do, because it's like, yeah, I mean, people could, like, I'm open to advice always, but I'm still like, man, like I have to do what I need to. So I'm going to do it at my pace because it's mine. This podcast is mine. So I'm going to post when I feel like it. I'm going to take breaks if I need to because I know when I put it out, I know it's fire. And it's as simple as that. So, yeah, man, I don't know. That's my thing, Slow down, don't rush, and yeah, I think that's it right now. So, I do want to kind of figure out like how I want to do these episodes, but I think what I just did, I think that was great, man. So, yeah, I'm gonna just keep rolling like this. Again, thank you guys for tuning in and supporting me. A lot more to come. Yeah, I'm gonna do my best to be more consistent with the podcast and releasing. So, I want you guys to have the best experience possible. So, with that being said, it's Don season, baby. Let's get it.
I know you want to spend some time with me. I know you want to take this ride with me. Please, please. I know you want to spend some time.